Thanks everyone for joining us this morning, and thanks to those of you that watch this later on YouTube or on the web. Always glad to have you join and share ideas. This morning, the topic's going to be, how do you know what shape you're going to end up turning when you look at the piece of wood you've just picked up? It'd be interesting to see how you decide what shape to turn. So, who would like to get started on that this morning?
Well, I'll say how I normally do it. I think maybe most of us have the same thing, but we have certain shapes that we like, and we try and maybe incorporate that in different sizes and or maybe decorate the bowls a little differently, but the shape is kind of the same general idea. And I the I mean, sometimes I change woods for the same shape that I like, or I'll dye the wood a color or whatever. And that's how I kind of always have done things. And although sometimes a piece of wood dictates this, can't do maybe a shape I would normally do, then I will try something different. But that's how I've always done things. And I don't know if other people have different ways that they decide what they're going to turn or not. But I think it's always been all-time favorite shapes for most people who have seen something they like, and a lot of people seem to like the same thing on it.
Okay. Thanks, Jim. Who's
Yeah,
next?
can you hear me?
Yes.
You can hear me. Okay. So I happen to be the winner of a spin the wheel. And so I inherited this lovely piece of walnut. So,
Ooh.
I mean, it's a beautiful piece. It's, Jay, it's not that funny. Anyway, I inherited this and it's sealed on both ends. It has a beautiful star shape. I don't know if you can see it in here. And I have a couple of options in my mind so far for it. It's about 5-inch diameter, 5.5-inch diameter. So it has, the bark is really sturdy on it, but it's a thick bark. So I'm not sure if I would want to kind of probably use my Arizona toothpick to go through it as far if I'm making a bowl. So I have two thoughts in mind. One is because of the length of it, I could do like a 5-inch bowl and then cut off the end and do something at this end from that angle. Another option that but I need to think through problems with doing that. Another option is this is one of Philip Bird's Beads of Courage containers. And actually this is long enough. I can't hold them both at the same time, but to show you. So an option is to use the piece. Whoops. I guess I'm still here, right? No.
Yep.
So is to use the piece for Beads of Courage because it's long enough. So it's long enough to use it for that purpose also, and it's about the right size. However, once I take the bark off, it may be much smaller. Yeah, I finally solved it. Thanks. So anyway, I have some issues I have to work through. The fact that the bark is, well, I mean, it's well attached, but it's a thick bark compared to some of the ones I've used before. As far as mounting the piece, I mean, I've used green wood to turn a live edge before, but I haven't used aged wood to do a live edge. So I would like some ideas on how to mount it perhaps. And I still have to think of which direction I want to go with it. So that's my piece. I haven't answered my questions or yours to decide, but those are my questions if anyone has any tips. I can throw them into my little pot for deciding what I'm doing.
One of the things that's tall enough, you could do a little bit of a tall vase out of that.
Yeah, I'd made a lot of vases, so I was going to try to do something different for that reason. It would make a nice tall vase perhaps, and that is one of the options. So I didn't mean to perplex everybody.
Yeah, with that nice star edge, the only thing I'm thinking of is if you use it for the beads of courage type of thing, you'll be cutting all of that out.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't be seeing that. Um, and then all the bark would be gone. So that would leave me, what does the rest of the wood inside look like? Like in the middle of it.
Yeah.
So
That's
for
one
me,
reason
I would
why
go
not
more
really,
for a
but
live edge.
okay.
I would
Yeah,
agree with
appreciate that.
Susan. When you have a log like that where the bark is really tight, I'd hate to lose it. I'm always taking bark off when it's loose, but that looked like it was going to stay. I know if Henderson were on, he would be talking about doing a hollowing from the bottom. So it'd be a long neck, narrow vase, and I'm envisioning kind of a bulbous bottom that really will show that star if you've got a nice small column coming up the center of it. So that's an option as well. And you could actually even leave some bark on it to even give it more character.
Okay.
I can assure
Sure.
you, based upon my experience with that type of log, it's like cutting into concrete. So your toothpick
that's what I think.
is
This weighs a ton.
yeah,
So
it's going to be hard.
Yeah. Well, that's why I thought the Arizona toothpick may be one of the better ways to cut into it.
Yeah.
So luckily we have one, but hollowing from the bottom, that's bigger than what you guys have been doing.
Henderson did one about that tall.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, kind of a nice bulbous bottom and then kind of a long neck. It really came out nice.
Okay. Well, I was looking for ideas, so I appreciate all of these ideas. And you're probably right. Beads of courage would eliminate some of that because the bark would go away.
Yeah.
But it does tell me what size log I would want if I want a single piece like Philip made. Well,
I'd like to call on Spence because we actually had this conversation the other day about, going to your wood and setting on your shelf and then deciding after you looked at it for 6 months what to do. So Spence, talk about your process.
You got to unmute yourself first, Spence.
Yeah.
You're muted. Muted, Spence.
Spence, you're muted.
Spence, you're muted.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
For me, there's 3 approaches. The first approach is, which is one I'm doing right now, I found an article in Woodturning magazine that showed a cute little bowl in which they used twine as they covered the bottom 2/3 with twine. So what I did with that, I said, okay, I know what I want to make and I know what approximate size is. So I went to my wood source and looked for a piece of wood that is appropriate to do that. That's the first way. The second way is, more often than not, I finished a project, I've cleaned the shop, and I'm kind of receptive and open, and I'm not sure what I want to do. And sure enough, I'll walk into the area that I have my wood, and there is a piece of wood somewhere in the shop that I kid you not goes, my turn. And when I look at that piece of wood, I see why it said it's my turn, because I see what it wants to be made. Uh, and and the third way is I go in and I look at my wood and I envision what vessel is within the wood itself. For example, I'll look at a bowl blank and I'll look at it and I'll look at two or three different ways and I'll think about the different kinds of bowls I can make. But then I say, I'm not going to do that. So I'll go back again and I'll look at another one. And this time I'll pick up a piece that's maybe 8 or 9 or 10 inches long and maybe 3 inches or so in diameter. And I'll look at it and I'll look at the grain and I'll say, oh, this could be an interesting pepper grinder, but is it the right kind of wood? So anyway, those are the three approaches that I have, and consequently, I'm never without an idea of what to do.
Thanks.
I think you're unique in that regard, Spence. I often pick up a piece of wood and have no clue.
I don't know. It's always been that way with me. Uh, I think one of the reasons is I do everything from something that's maybe an inch in diameter to 10 or 12 or 15 inches in diameter of wood. And so I do lots of different things, which is kind of the reason that I'm never without an idea of what to do.
I think with regard to Kathy's concern and her piece of wood, this topic here is shape. Well, first she has to decide on orientation. Do you want it to be an upright shape, a vase-like device, or do you want it to be a bowl? You could turn it on its side and cut a bowl out of it. So getting the final product in mind first will help to dictate what shape is going to work. And as you've already said, because it's got a tightly adherent bark, you really don't want to throw that away. How can you come up with a shape that will maximize that and still come up with the end product you want? So first decision is vase or bowl.
Well, I think that piece of wood would be highly enhanced if she did it on the side to where she has those star patterns on both sides of the bowl. It's like what Larry did when he was doing some of that filling. That would just be spectacular to have those on opposed sides. And the only thing is, from my past few bowls and things that I've turned, that grain in the center, the heart, is going to be harder than hell. I mean, and it's going to be tough. So if she can do it from the side, it would be easier than trying to hollow through the center of it. But for my own, I mean, it's like I spend way too much time on the internet, but this bowl that I brought to Tuesday and Spence wasn't there to see it. This is a completely different look for me, which was just something that I tried and it was fun. But, all of us have turned so many bowls that it just gets to be, you almost kind of fall into a pattern of what you venture back towards that you've already done. So I try and do things that I see other people doing and that. But my biggest one is, and I know Spence loves these, is my roots and those that I've been turning. They dictate to you what you can take off and make them look. It's like that thing that Doug brought. God, that would have been firewood because it was so busy. But I just think you just kind of have to try and venture outside what you normally do.
Bob, I want to comment. You said one word which to me says it all, and that was it was fun.
What was that, Spence?
I said you said one word in what you were talking about that for me keyed it all, and that was the word fun. You were
Yes.
fun at what you were doing.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what we all aspire towards.
So I have this piece here. It was given to me and it's been squared off. You can see that, but I think I don't know what it is. But my thing, it's not very big, so it's like the size of my hand. And I don't know if I should turn it so that it's upright like this or if I turn it like this. I know I'm gonna have to add probably resin with it
Yeah.
to do anything because it's hills and valleys. But I just don't know if I should do it, long ways like that or if I should do it up like that for a vase. Because it is, it's been squared off, so I'm gonna have to, you know, I don't know. This one I've been sitting there looking at for a bit and I can't really, I don't know. I don't even know what kind of wood it is. Has a little bit of a hole on this side, so it's going to be hollow on the inside. That's why I'm thinking this way, up and down like this because
It
of the
looks to me
hole.
like that's a root ball, cut out
It
of a
might
root
be.
ball.
Yeah, it could be, but
Almost
it's
looks like
And
there's
like
a
interesting.
Kathy,
little,
you have to figure that orientation first and then figure out how you want to mount it. Do you want a bowl out of it? Do you want a vase out of it?
Mm,
Uh, Unfortunately, that's the first decision.
yeah, but it's an interesting piece.
Yeah, it'll have a lot of character.
Kathy, you're awful quiet. Move your microphone a little.
Is that better?
Yes.
Okay, maybe I should turn my sound up too. Oh, it's not. Hi. But Susan, I like the character of the branches going outward. It looks like a vase would keep some of that character, but a bowl would take it away. So
Yeah.
that'd be my thought on that one.
It's almost a catch-22 because I like the shape, but if you put it in resin and then hollow it out, a lot of the interesting parts of the shape are going to be gone.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting.
I believe Susan will put resin in it some way and make it look good.
Always make it look good.
Jay's got me stuck on resin. Jay and Mark, they're like, okay.
As you should. I would suggest putting a clear coat resin, cast it so you can still see it, but have something solid to work with.
Hmm.
Yeah, I attended a wood turning, um, I guess, expo when I was in Boise and got a chance to talk to the vice president of their wood turning club. But one of the things that was on display, I took some pictures to share with Mark and with Jay. They cast a resin around the wood and then hollowed it out and left a lid on it. So there was just a small, maybe 2.5 inch diameter cap on top that went into a vessel that was probably 8 inches in diameter and probably 8 inches tall, hollowed out. And because it was mostly resin, you could see all the way through it. But then they did a recess in the bottom rather than taking it down like we normally do to a nice thin flat bottom. And you put a little light in the bottom so it lit up the
Mm,
whole thing and it looked just really sharp. So that was
good
something
stuff.
new I had not seen done before.
I think that would be good for Susan's piece if you did something similar because you've got so many openings in that piece. If you made a vase shape but had a light under the bottom and you've cast it in resin, you're going to get all that extra glow coming out of those openings. And that would be very unique.
Yeah.
Was that one of the lights with the integral battery in it?
Yes.
Okay.
I was just thinking about Kathy's piece and what Spence said triggered this. So my first thought is one, I'd secure the bark with some clear resin, put it on, spin it, and put a couple coats of resin just to make sure everything's nice and solid. Then turn it into an hourglass shape. But in the center of the hourglass, the thin piece, wrap it with twine like Spence was talking about. And then secure the twine with another coat of resin. So you've got bark on the bottom, bark on the top, the piece inside wrapped with twine, and you've got a good solid piece to make a vase out of it, make a lidded piece out of it, something like that. But just something a little different. But I just want to share this real quick. I just finished this thing. This is 100% resin where I've cast red, white, and blue marbles and put the marbles in. And this is going to my neighbor that's a retired submarine captain. And I think he'll like that.
That's cool.
Oh,
I like
So-
that, Jay.
So Jay, if I did use resin to secure this bark, which I'm not even sure it needs, it's concreted on there. What kind of resin? I wouldn't have to use a pressure pot for that, correct? Just a clear
Don't use
resin.
a pressure pot. Don't use a pressure pot. Mix up some tabletop resin, which is
Oh, okay.
designed for coating. And I have plenty. If you want some, I'll gladly give you some of mine. But I wouldn't use casting resin. I'd use a tabletop resin.
Thanks for that,
And-
Jay. I was going to ask the same question because I do have several sets of tabletop type resin that were given to me, and I don't have a pressure pot, so it's just sitting on the shelf. But I wanted to clarify what you mean by a clear coat resin. It would be that same type of resin, if I understand you.
Yeah, clear coat just means you're not mixing any pigment or dye in it. Just
Mhm.
using it clear.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
But yeah,
because I
the
don't
one
want
thing
to get
about
into
ability.
the bark.
Yeah, the one thing about tabletop resin you need to be cautious of is you cannot cast it for any depth. It's meant for coating. So by using a brush or just pouring it on, what I do on mine is I have my lathe goes down to about 55, 60 RPMs. So I'll put the piece on the lathe and just spin it real slow. And I'll just drizzle the resin on it and use one of those cheap little chip brushes and spread it out, then pull the hairs of the chip brush out of it and let it, I leave it on overnight and I come back out in the morning and it's hard as a rock and all the bubbles are gone and it looks great. And that's how I did a finish coating on this.
Thanks for that, Jay. With
Yeah.
her
Yeah, that's
piece,
interesting.
with Kathy's piece, the bark is very thick. So it's going to have to be
Yeah.
painted down into the crevices.
It's really thick.
And would you advise just treat it multiple coats to build
Yeah.
up from the
Yeah.
base out to
And
the
the only
surface?
reason I say it is my experience and, not being the most experienced turner, I can take the most secure bark and make it come loose. So that's why I tend to secure it some one way or another.
Does it make it really shiny?
It could.
Because I don't want it too shiny, just
Yeah.
because it looks more natural if it is not. So,
And if you take a brush and you push it into the crevices of the bark, it acts more of a glue or an adhesive than it does as a coating.
okay. Okay. If I decide to go that direction, that would be good. I've done some off-center things, and if I did an hourglass, I could do a slight off-center to it because it has an actual arc to it. So if I do go that direction, I might make sure
I
it's
guess
flat on the
it hit
top
me.
and bottom, but it would have some offset.
It hit me when Spence was talking that a centerpiece with twine on it would be like a perfect handle to grasp the object. I thought, well, that makes a lot of sense. That might look good, might look interesting.
Definitely would be something I haven't done before and had never thought of that. So I'll keep that in mind too. I don't have a time I have to present it to the club after winning it, I don't think. Is that true? Oh, there is a time limit? Nobody
Some
else has
time
shown
within
theirs
your
yet.
lifetime.
Oh, well, okay. Phew. Relief.
One of the things that I use quite a bit, and I know the club has one in the library and several other people, and I can't see myself. Let me see, get this, make sure I got it. There we go. Is I use this book. Hello, focus. You can do it.
Back up a little bit. Back up. There you go.
Hold it still. Give it a chance to focus.
Yeah.
Let me
I like
see.
that book
Bruce, you
too.
probably have to take the blur off of Zoom.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
looking to see. And if I do that, oh, that's down here.
I happen to have the same book.
Mhm.
There you
There we
go.
go. And
I have used that book a lot. We bought it because it's very helpful.
yeah, it just has all kinds of shapes to start with and, you know, get your thought processes going on what do you want to turn this into? So it's a out of print book, but you can find them available, you know, from time to time on the web. And it was funny. I wanted to buy two of them. So I found one place and one another place. I ordered them both. Cool. I got two coming.
Good.
I got a phone call about 2 days later. It says, "Hey, I've only got one book. I advertised it in two places and you bought it in both places."
That's funny.
I'd like to supplement what this book does show that Bruce introduced here is inside are a whole bunch of different profiles, but the profiles are half profile, which helps them get more shapes on a page, but it also helps you visualize how you want that to actually copy it, do all sorts of things with it. And the half profile works just fine for getting that shape in mind for the final object you're turning. So it's good for thinking through possible shapes, but I find there's a lot of them I probably would just never use. It depends on what that final product is that you're looking for. For example, Grecian urns. Well, I'm not making any of those, but there's examples in here. Their bowls examples are probably not things I would do. Here, for example, are some bowls, but I don't know how they call that a bowl, but it still triggers the thought process. And I think that's what you're looking for in a book like this.
Well, you can also just
Kathy, correct me if I'm wrong, but this book is in the library, is it not?
Yes.
It is in the library. A lot of people have checked it out. I think, Bruce, you bought it after you checked it out the first time, if I remember correctly.
You're
So
right.
it is one of the more checked out books in our library, actually, just for ideas.
Well, you can always go to my favorite place, YouTube. You just put in bowl shapes and they'll bring up 20, 30 different articles on different shapes and people demonstrating those shapes. So
If Dave Henderson was here, he'd be saying go to AI images.
Yeah.
yeah, but they don't give you visual too much. They give you a lot of good information because that's what I use for all the stuff that I submit to Kathy because I know how much she loves AI.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there was an interesting article in the most recent
And
magazine, I think, where it had which one was AI generated and which one was a photograph, and you really couldn't tell them apart. But they did. AI will create images. You know, one thing that we haven't talked about that I have found that I'm using a lot lately is the golden ratio, and I think I had inherently done it, but now that I am measuring, I feel much more confident that the shape will be pleasing. And yeah, I've had good success with making sure that that's part of my design.
Yes, that's the 1/3, 2/3 is generally that golden ratio. If you do a search online, you'll find there's multiple places that will give you guides for how to make a device. I thought I had it right here that will actually, here it is. Here's one kind of gauge. And just make this out of some aluminum flat stock and a couple rivets. And it will let you use this on your piece, and it gives you the visual idea of what that real golden ratio is going to be like. Having used it a couple times, it's sometimes tricky because there's a long leg and a short leg. You have to decide which part of my turned object do I want to be the long leg and which is the short leg. Sometimes it comes out close and visually. I sometimes say, well, it doesn't look quite right, but I'm close, so that's good enough.
Yeah.
So there are these gauges available, plans for these gauges out there on the internet.
Or you can buy one from Trent Bosch for $40.
Other people sell them too.
Yeah. Actually, I made 20 of those for Dean to hand out in his advanced class. Oh, and look at Bob.
Where did I get that from, Chuck?
I don't know. I don't
Mhm.
know. Someone mass produced them.
And that's just, it works.
Yeah, it does. That's what I use.
Yes, my biggest issue is I don't want to get rid of the wood. You know?
Right.
So like when I
Yeah.
have this round piece here, um, I would say it would make a really nice platter because it's only maybe 3 inches thick. But then I'm thinking, well, maybe I'll make a high bowl because then I only have to take off a little bit of it, because I want to keep as much of the wood as possible. But that I have to get over that sometimes on taking away wood.
Well,
Yeah, I'm
Susan, you
with
can
you.
just
I'd either
set it.
make two platters out of that, or my first choice though would be a high edge bowl.
Mhm.
The other possibility is a pedestal bowl. But Susan, I agree with you. I have the same bias when I pick up a piece of wood. I have to get over that feeling of using as little, taking off as little wood as I possibly can.
Okay,
Yeah,
my
I'm kind of
turn.
the same way.
Um, so I guess I have the platform here. Um, One of my first projects with resin, and I put olive wood, no surprise there, in a container and then poured some resin into it, and this is the one here. Um, so initially, I had a design shape in mind, but a huge chunk of the resin portion on the side here just flew off. I mean, it was about the size of a quarter. So it changed my idea of what I was going to do and actually made it smaller. But it turned out pretty good. But I when it happened, I still have a picture of it somewhere, but when it happened, I have no idea what happened to the junk. It's probably still somewhere in my shop. I never found it. But anyway, that's one thing that happens to me, if there's a piece, and it doesn't have to be resin. It could be maybe a knot that was in the wood or punky wood or something. So that changes my idea, my shape, what I'm gonna do. So other than that, I just like a lot of you, I just go somewhere and look at shapes or maybe get a bowl in the house from the kitchen or and just look at it and say, okay, that's what I want to do. So That's it.
I
Thanks,
can
Mark.
give you I can give you an update. We're coming back. We'll be back at the end of the month. I've shut down my shop here with an eye towards selling this place in Maine. Uh, I've already got rid of my bandsaw. I've got a guy coming this weekend to pick up my one way. And after that, it's all just little stuff to get rid of. Uh, as far as wood, we had our local utility company uh, put in a new pole. We have poles here uh, with wires strung between them. None of this underground utility stuff. And they took down a big Norway maple. And it looked like when they chunked it up for us, there was some ambrosia in it. So that was interesting. I've got pieces for the guy who's going to come and get the lathe, uh, free for him. But so that's where we're at. Mary sold her loom here. Uh, so we're serious about downsizing here, and we'll see you in a while.
So are you
Look
going
at
to
pho-
become a permanent Arizona resident?
Yeah, we always have been permanent Arizona residents. We just have a get away for the summer, and we want to get out from underneath all of it's expensive to have a house, and we've been taking care of it, and we probably will uh, come back and rent a house here for 2, 3 months in the summers rather than having our own house to have to take care of. So
Sounds like
that's
a
it.
good plan.
it's
Well, we're going to welcome you back with open arms, Dick. Be glad to have you
Okay.
around year
Yes, sir.
round.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, what else do people have to talk about this morning? Well,
Well, I have a question that's not related to wood turning. I had computer problems this morning. That's the reason why I was late coming on. But I'm looking to buy a new computer, partly because, well, the computer is old and I was waiting for Windows 12 to come out, but it hasn't happened yet. But Microsoft will stop supporting Windows 10 this month. So a good reason for me to update my computer situation. Anyway, looking to buy. Does anybody have a good computer uh, person that works on computers? Well, I'd like to transfer all of my programs and everything from the old computer to the new one. And I was just wondering if somebody, I used to be able to do that kind of stuff, but I'm way, way behind the IT world. So any recommendations? I appreciate it.
Mark, are you going to do a laptop or?
Laptop. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, my wife
Mark,
just did that for us, and she's got a guy here in Prescott Valley that's very reasonable, and he's super good. But there's a lot of people in this club I know from talking in the past that can help you with the transfers. It's not that hard anymore.
Mark, there's a company in Prescott Valley that we've been using pretty regularly, and Bruce knows about it too. It's called Tough Techies.
Okay. Tough techies.
If you want, I can reach out to one of my IT guys that I managed from the county. They do side jobs.
Okay. I I appreciate all the ideas or suggestions. I'm looking forward to a faster computer because I was sitting here at 8:20 ready to get on Zoom and it just didn't want to wake up. And so I had to do a restart, and so I need to do something different. So
Yeah, if you're on Windows 10, it's time.
yes.
Mark, I shared with the group earlier about a picture I got to show you of a piece that was resin and wood at a wood turning place I attended in Utah. So something for you to
Oh,
consider adding to your repertoire to do.
oh, okay. My my interest is peaked. So you're gonna show me a picture later?
Yeah,
Okay.
Oh,
I
you
don't have it.
showed, if you showed it earlier, I didn't see it either. So
No, I didn't.
curious. Oh, okay.
Well, now you're teasing all of us.
All right, hang on.
I
Let's see.
agree.
That's just not fair.
I know.
Yeah, don't leave us in suspense here.
Let's see. Can I do that? Where is it? Doot. Talk amongst yourselves, as the saying goes.
Look at this piece, Zim. Wait, let me take my blur off so that it doesn't blur it out. Boop. Look.
Ooh, nice root ball.
Yeah.
So Susan, don't you have enough above ground to work with that you have to go below now?
No, I got tons above. This is all stuff that's been sitting in my cabinets forever. I have a ton of this stuff just sitting in my cabinets. Yeah.
What are you planning to do with that piece?
This piece, I'm thinking I'm gonna turn from, since this side's flat, I'm thinking I might, I don't know, go down and make just like a little, maybe I'll do it off center like this because it's a little bit more wood right here. Turn something, but this side's kind of cool. I don't know.
I saw one last night. I tune in sometimes Wednesday night, Wide World of Woodturners. It's free. And a guy had a very thin burl piece similar to that. And the bottom where it's flat, he left that and he put just a little tiny bowl in the center of the burl on top. And it came out very nice looking piece. So you may want to consider that too.
Yeah.
Well, that's funny because I just watched a couple of videos and they actually use that for like a base for a vase. They just take a Forstner bit, drill a hole in it, and put another piece in it. I've done that with a couple of my the animals that Barry and Chuck and I have done with the cutouts and use those for bases. It just, it's almost too thin to do anything with all the root balls that I turn and that. So it was kind of another cool aspect of utilizing it without losing. I just take my little sandblaster and clean it up a little bit, put some clear lacquer on it, usually satin, and use them for bases.
I saw another example where a guy took a piece similar to that and he makes tiny little lighthouses. And he just put the lighthouse, it was on scale, on top of that thing. So it looked like the rocky, craggy coast of a shore with a lighthouse sticking up on it.
Yeah.
That would be a good idea for you to try, Susan, because that bottom side has a landscape appearance to it. That would be really, you could be very artistic with that.
Yeah, get a hold of Dennis and get some of the train stuff, get some little animals, and you can make a pasture out of it.
I have
don't
a
know.
thought for
Go ahead.
I have a thought for Kathy. This is with regard to the piece that you've been holding up, the walnut piece. Um, and this is just an extension of the idea that you make an hourglass shape with it. I was thinking, and I don't know what the proportion, if the proportions would work out well for you, if it would be long enough. But perhaps trying one of those Rudy Osolnik candlesticks that's quite thin in the middle, if you know what those look like.
I'm not sure what you're talking about. No.
Oh, okay. There's an old time wood turner by the name of Rudy Osolnik who made candlesticks, which were really dramatically thin in the middle. And I don't know where the spalting in yours would hit in terms of complementing that kind of design. But the guy's name is Rudeosolnik, Rudy Osolnik. And they're his signature piece, but he's long gone by now.
Well, look him up and see what he
Yeah,
did too.
that might be worth taking a look at.
It's good to gather ideas and then it all
Mhm.
comes together eventually. So thank you.
Okay, you ready?
I don't know.
We've been
Hold on
waiting.
just a second, Bruce. I don't know if you guys talked about it yet, but farmers market on Saturday. I hope it doesn't rain on us.
We're
Well, they'll
waiting until tomorrow before noon to make that final assessment.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Because you know the weather here can change from hour to hour. So
Mhm.
All right, Mark.
Oh, wow.
This is a piece that is probably mostly resin and some wood in the outside diameters. This cap comes off. It's not two pieces, it's one piece. And he hollowed out the inside all the way down, but on the bottom, it came up, kind of like so. So he could put a light in the bottom of it and shine up through it.
Oh,
So
wow.
Bruce, so you're saying that the light is in the piece itself, not in that black base that it's sitting on.
correct.
No, wouldn't the light, if it comes up, wouldn't the light be under it? Or is it?
no, he hollowed out like
He
doing
hollowed
a
out a spot in the bottom so you could set it on anything with a light in it.
Gotcha.
I'm looking at the vase towards the bottom of it, and it looked like an image of a person running.
Yeah, I saw that just now. I didn't see that when I was there.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, you got it. I wonder if that was intentional. Kind of looks like it.
Had to have been.
Yeah.
Had to be, yeah.
But it was interesting because the pieces of wood were around the outside, and I thought of you because there'd be a lot of resin in that to hollow out.
There is, yeah. But it's interesting how he got that resin to do that. That's I don't know how he would have done that. Wow, pretty nice.
It looks like some of the pictures of Antelope Canyon or something like that somebody would be hiking through. It's interesting.
Right. Yeah. Looks cool. And where was this, Bruce?
Boise.
Okay.
well, hey Mark, wouldn't it work if you put just a cheap piece of wood inside that and then poured the resin around it with all those and use some kind of wood that would turn out easier?
Like
Yeah,
balsa.
but the trick is going to be to get all those um shapes of the resin that he had in there, mixing the colors. If you try to mix colors, um, sometimes it just blends, and you mix green and yellow. What do you get? I forget. I don't know my color palettes very well, but um, I mixed some blue with silver pearl mica powder one time in resin, and it just melded all together and wasn't what I was looking for. So um, I was just interested and curious how he got those colors to stay separate, the red and the yellow, and there's some other colors there too. So how did he get those to stay like that? I don't know. So I learn as I go how to do some of this stuff, but it's very interesting.
What else does anybody have this morning?
In terms of shape, I'm like a lot of others who rely on the internet and books to be able to get ideas, uh, different things that would challenge you and be fun to try. There's one site in particular that I really like, the Papa 1947. He does a lot of different challenging ideas and shapes, and some things I never tried thinking of. Um, a lot of times it'll be a situation of laminated woods, not just one, but a combination of different woods that you can combine together to achieve the shape you're after. And besides, of course, segmenting, I think laminating in itself makes a lot of sense to try different things.
I've watched him. He's a lot of fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Who is that again?
The Papa 1947.
That was a good year.
THEPAPA 1947.
Yeah, he popped right up on doing a Google search, a number of videos.
Mhm.
That's who you're talking about, Bob?
Yes, exactly, Ken.
Good.
Really a good guy. And he goes into good depth about how he achieves these different things. And a lot of times he'll build jigs specifically for the purpose that he's looking for.
Well, I've watched a couple sites lately that do a lot of laminating, and I mean it takes, I don't know, 6, 8 laminates to get the design that these guys end up with. I mean, it's very, very, very intense. So it all depends how much time you want to spend doing it.
Right, exactly. Make it fun.
I just looked up his website, and the first thing it said is a walnut piece took him 5 years to figure out. So I'm not sure that's encouraging.
Well, it just says there's no rush, Kathy.
But the clock is
Right.
ticking.
Chuck said I have the rest of my life, so I'm good. But I had not heard of him, Bob, so thanks for mentioning it. I'll put it in the notes. Thanks.
Absolutely.
What else this morning?
I just want to thank everybody for all the ideas. It was nice to collect some more that hadn't thought of before. And Spence, when you start working with twine, I may, if I decide to try an hourglass, I may have to pick your brain too and get some help with that. Thanks.
All righty.
Be my pleasure, Kathy.
The general thing I noticed that maybe people are interested or not, but this weekend the mall they have big craft deals on once a month down there, and it'll be Friday and Saturday, and it's a chance if anybody wants to be interested to try and sell some stuff. There's a place you can go to try it if you're interested.
Have you been in those before, Jim?
No, I never got into it. I just went, oh, happy over there one time, and I when it was on, And I talked to a gal there that I knew that had been at other shows, and she told me the only thing wrong with it is that it goes 2 days, but you got to bring your own tables in, and you got to take down each day. You can't leave your stuff there overnight for the second day. But you probably might have some pretty decent traffic. You never know. So for what it's worth, it's not something for me anymore. I'm too old to be hauling these tables in and up and down a couple of days in a row. Uh, but somebody else might be interested. If they didn't know about it, it's a chance to maybe sell some stuff
When is that, Jim?
this weekend.
I don't think you want to be in Globe this weekend. We're talking about major flooding.
Yeah, well, the mall is they got good parking and everything over there to get into it and so forth, but it may be a bad weekend for that reason.
Are you saying
Jim, is
Globe
that
or here
indoors
in
or
Prescott?
outdoors?
Pardon me?
Are you talking about Globe or here in Prescott?
No, here in Prescott. Our mall here in Prescott.
Oh,
Is that indoors?
Yeah. It's an indoor venue. They say the only thing wrong with it to me is that you got to haul your table in, but you got to take it down that night and come back the next day again and set it up. You can't leave things overnight. But you could get maybe some pretty good traffic, and if anybody has stuff they want to maybe try and sell, that might be a good opportunity for what it's worth. And they're going to do it once a month, I guess, all around for the year. At least what the paper said this morning. And so it's a sales opportunity if people got stuff they maybe want to sell, craft stuff.
Okay. Anything else for this morning? If not, thank you one and all for joining. And we will see you next time.